This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of Phatts TV, sanctioned by PA Phatts and the non-genetically proven son. Any and all words have been authorized during the show. There is nothing off limits. Nobody is restricted from watching and participating in the show. It is a free-for-all. Commencing at the siren, any and all discussions will be legal for an extended period of time. Sports, politics, and any and all controversial topics will be talked about. You have been warned. May God be with us all.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Phatts TV on this Friday night, November the 4th, 2022. I am your host, the unshaven, looking pretty slobby tonight, PA Phatts. Guess I just don't care tonight. In the upper left-hand portion of the screen, deep in the heart of Center County, PA. Actually, you're probably even more, the new Phatts Studio B is probably even more in the heart of Center County, PA.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure that it is. If you look at it on a map, it probably is. The one, the only.
If the heart is being not center, then yeah, maybe.
Non-genetically proven son. How the hell are you for a Friday?
Good, because work always gets off at 10 a.m.
Michigan Hate Week, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the back it says Michigan still sucks.
Well, they do.
I don't care how much. I don't care how much to beat Penn State, but still suck. Well, I'm wearing this because Penn State hockey plays Michigan today and tomorrow.
Ah.
Michigan being number 1, Penn State being number 13.
Why aren't you there tonight?
I'm here.
Oh, well, it's good to know that you put your obligation of the show in front of your photography obligations.
And it's not like I get paid for hockey, so.
Yes, so the good news in the Althouse photography household this week is the non-genetically proven son got approved, got his media pass to do basically all of Penn State wintertime sports now. So we'll be seeing him at, is it Pagula or Padula?
Pagula.
Pagula Ice Arena, the Bryce Jordan Center, and he'll be doing some wrestling at the Bryce Jordan Center, and they also play at the, what's it called?
Rec Hall.
Rec Hall. I don't know why that didn't come to my mind so quick. Yeah.
Yep. Covering the big three this winter.
Yep. And when does fencing start?
Because I know.
Is that a wintertime sport?
It's probably a year-round sport, to be honest.
I kind of doubt they have Big Ten fencing deep in the heart of June.
Okay.
But who knows?
During this year.
But who knows? So as always, our message board is live in operation should you wish to chime in. So we're going to start off tonight with the World Series. We are through Game 5, as most of you probably know. Some of us have watched every pitch. Some of us haven't watched a pitch.
I watched, like, highlights or, like, you know.
So it's going to be hard to get your thoughts on how the World Series is going.
Well, the Phillies are blowing it. That's all I know.
Yeah. I mean, usually I'm not that interested in baseball unless I'm actually there. Like, I like to go to games. I'm not usually one to watch it on TV, especially the World Series, because, you know, each game is at least 4 hours long.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus
I can't even
Christ.
stay up past the 6th inning even if I wanted to watch it.
So, in case you've been under a rock or haven't watched a pitch, Game 1, Houston jumped out to a quick 5-0 lead. Somehow Philly came back and ended up winning that game in extra innings. They could have easily lost that game in the 9th inning. Their right fielder made a spectacular sliding catch to get the third out in the 9th. If that falls in, Houston ends up winning that game. Game 2, Houston came back and tied it up. Game 3, Philadelphia at the Link or Citizens Bank Ballpark. What am I saying? The Link. That's where the fucking Eagles play. at Citizens Bank Ballpark, hit 5 home runs. The crowd was electric that night. How did they respond in Game 4? Yeah, they got no hit.
Yeah, the crowd wasn't so electric.
They got no hit. Only the second ever no-hitter in World Series, third no-hitter in the playoffs. Interestingly enough, 2 out of the 3 took place in Philadelphia. And I know someone who was in the ballpark for the 2 of them. Interestingly enough, he was not in the ballpark in 1956 for Don Larson's no-hitter / perfect game for the Yankees against the Dodgers. I don't know why he wasn't in the park.
Unfortunate.
I mean, his egg cells were alive. Probably not formed yet. And then last night, it was a very tight 3-2 game in the 9th. And Houston center fielder made a fantastic play, leaping into the wall, crashed into the wall in the bottom of the 9th to preserve a run, and Houston ends up winning 3-2. So they're up 3-2, heading back to Houston tomorrow night. Phillies have a chance to win 2 of them in Houston?
No.
Or is the bell gonna be silenced?
With losing 2 straight at home, good luck. I mean, you might win a Game 6, but I don't think you're going to win 2 in Houston.
It is a tall task for them.
Because then you're asking, you have to win 3 games in Houston through the whole series. Like, good luck.
Yep.
It's not going to happen.
Yep.
I mean, Houston's pitching, I think, is going to be worse. But I don't know.
I mean, Houston's pitching is still better than Philly's pitching.
Yeah.
I mean, at some time you're gonna. I mean, there's a chance you could have. Well, you probably have Wheeler on the mound in Game 6, and you could come back with Nola potentially, at least for part of Game 7.
You could do that same thing with Verlander. He only pitched 5.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to because he typically sucks in the World Series. I mean, it was interesting. After getting no hit in Game 5, how did the Phillies come out? First batter, home run. Schwarber.
Wheeler is on the mound for Game 6, and Framber Valdez is on the mound for Houston.
Okay. I mean, definitely in a Game 7, Houston would definitely have the superior pitching. Without a doubt, if it does go 7.
Their bullpen's better.
Oh, it's absolutely better.
So, there's your advantage.
Yes, their fielding is better. Their hitting, probably not. Probably not. But you know what? As much of a fan I am not of any Philadelphia team.
That's a lie.
Of the major sports.
Okay, that was a little bit more truth.
I mean, it's true. I'm a Philly Wings fan.
You don't think if the Union win the MLS Cup tomorrow, you don't think the city's going to catch on fire?
No. No.
At least no. No, I'm probably not going to get to watch the game. I would watch the game if I wasn't going to be at Pagula.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that the game is at like 3:30 in the afternoon. It's an afternoon
Is
game.
it really?
Yeah, it's an afternoon. It's not even a night game.
Oh.
I mean, probably because they're up against the World Series, probably. I mean, yeah. I don't even know.
Fans turn out.
I don't even know where that game's at. Are they playing it on a neutral field, or is it in L.A. or in Philly?
I don't think it's either. I'm pretty sure it's on a neutral. But let me look. Hold up.
Please wait for the next available operator. It's being played at Shriners Field.
It's being played at Bank of California Stadium in L.A.
So that's.
Let me see where LAFC actually
Well,
plays.
that's got to be their home field. So anyway, we wish the Union
they are home.
all luck tomorrow. But we're not here to talk soccer. We're here to talk the big sporting news of this weekend, the Breeders' Cup, of course. No, we're not even here to talk about that. Although it will be on my computer tomorrow. It's a great Saturday in sports, especially come 3:30. I'll have my big screen that's in front of me right now. I will have the Penn State game on. I will have the Georgia-Tennessee game on. I will have the Breeders' Cup on one of my computers, and God only knows what might be on my other computer. Possibly porn for all I know. Who knows? Who knows? What about you?
What am I doing tomorrow?
What time's the game? 7?
7:30.
7:30. All right. So you'll be able to watch at least the first half.
I won't probably leave here till 6:30, to be honest. I don't need to be there that early.
You gonna say there'll be plenty of parking available?
Yeah. There should be.
Got ya. So, let's look at how the executive producer told me we were going to do the show tonight. College football is next.
College football. Our rankings.
So, the top 6 of the college football playoff committee came out this week. Let me see if I remember them correctly. Tennessee, shockingly, was number 1.
I don't think it's so shocking.
Oh, I think it's definitely shocking they were number 1.
They have the best wins in football.
I think it's very shocking they were number 1. Very shocking. Ohio State was 2, Georgia was 3, Clemson was 4, Michigan was 5, Alabama was 6.
Correct.
Do you agree that Tennessee should have been number 1?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
I do not.
They have
but that's okay.
The best win, and Georgia's had some very rocky games.
Yeah.
So Tennessee has not looked like they have come close to losing.
Yeah.
Beat Alabama.
They could have easily lost the Alabama game. They were trailing for a good part of it.
Did they beat Alabama?
They did. But you said hasn't come close to losing.
Okay.
That is a fabrication.
You're a fabrication.
I am a fabrication.
Yeah, I agree. Tennessee could be 1. Who's your number 1?
Ohio State.
Ohio State. I don't think so.
Ohio State.
Ohio State struggled with Penn State.
And then when they felt like playing, they scored 4 touchdowns in like 6 minutes.
Well, it helps when you have 3 short yardage fields and their left edge rusher is their left edge rusher is against the 3rd string right tackle.
And let me say it again. When they felt like playing, they scored 4 touchdowns in about 6 minutes. All I'm going to say. So, what's your top 6 then? Let me write this down. No, yeah, your top 6 right now. Hold on. Let me get the old Phatts TV pen here. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'll give you my top 6.
Tennessee. 2 and 3 are interchangeable to me.
Okay.
But I have Georgia at number 2.
Georgia.
And Ohio State at number 3.
Ohio State.
TCU
at 4.
Michigan. And then Clemson. You could put Alabama in, but I've expressed this enough. I think Clemson is not a top 10 team, but the ACC stinks. So you can't really penalize them enough to really put them behind a team that has lost yet. I think Clemson being at 4 in the actual rankings is a travesty, and TCU being at 7, you damn well know if it was Oklahoma or Texas that was 8-0, they would be number 3.
Oh, absolutely.
So the fact that they're unrewarding TCU for having better wins than Clemson and better wins than Michigan, putting them at number 7, that is horrible.
Absolutely. So I have the same 6, believe it or not.
I don't think that's completely out of this world. The only one that would be different is Alabama, maybe in Oregon, maybe.
Ooh, I forgot about Oregon. I don't have the same 6 as you. I have Ohio State first, Georgia second, Tennessee third, Michigan fourth, Oregon fifth, TCU sixth.
You're awful.
What can I say?
Oregon got murdered by Georgia.
Right.
Murdered.
Right. They did.
And you're going to put an undefeated team behind them.
They did. Game 1 of the season. Game 1.
I don't care.
Game 1 of the season. Game 1 of the season. Game 1 of the season. Are you going to tell me if Georgia played Oregon on a neutral field right now, Georgia would murder them? No. Would Georgia win? 60% chance. 65% chance. I mean, Georgia isn't looking fantastic this year. That's why the game tomorrow is going to be great. I'm shocked that the line is straddling between 8 and 8.5. It's one of those where I don't understand it, and when I don't understand it, I try not to play it because that usually means the team I don't understand is getting points, gets thrashed. Usually that's what that means.
Usually.
So, if the playoffs started today, what would you say is gonna happen in the playoffs?
Well, Tennessee would beat TCU. I think they beat them pretty easily, actually.
No, so what I'm saying is, like, who's your top 4 come playoff time?
Oh, come the playoff time.
Yes.
So, my end of season playoffs is, I'll start with number 7. Because I ended up going to 7 instead of 6. Number 7, I got Michigan. We're going to lose to Ohio State. That's my guess. Number 6, I got Tennessee. Going to lose to Georgia. Number 5, I got Oregon. 1 loss, they're going to win the Pac-12. Number 4, I got TCU. We're going to win the Big 12 undefeated. Clemson at number 3. I don't think they deserve to be number 3, but the committee will put an undefeated Clemson in the playoffs. No question. Number 2, I got Ohio State. Undefeated, win the Big 10. Number 1, I got Georgia, because they're going to beat Tennessee, who's number 1. They're going to beat Alabama. They're going to be undefeated going in.
What happens if Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC title game?
TCU will probably get knocked out. Georgia will be 3. Georgia will be 4. Alabama will be 2 or 3. And Ohio State will be 1. Clemson will be 2 or 3. Georgia will be 4.
Got ya.
Unless Georgia gets murdered.
Got ya. So, yeah. So, like, I don't like how this whole thing is set up, which is going to be so much better when we go to an expanded college playoff team. So, basically, if Tennessee loses tomorrow, they're out.
Most likely, yeah.
They're out. Because Georgia's not going to lose 2 games.
If you had a Clemson loss, a TCU loss, I think Tennessee can still get in. But that brings back in Oregon and even Michigan, because would you argue a 1-loss Michigan is just as good?
Right. Right. See, where I'm more of a fan of when you do a conference championship, you have the 2 best teams. For example, right now, let's look at the Big Ten. Let's just assume Ohio State beats Michigan the final week. Who are they going to play in the West?
Illinois.
How many are they going to be favored over Illinois by?
Probably at least 25.
Wouldn't you rather see them have to play Michigan again?
Now, I have an argument for this. It's not really an argument. In 2024, when UCLA and USC join the Big Ten, they are it's in talks, not 100% confirmed, to do that. They're going to just pick the best two teams because they're working on how to play a rotation where you play at every stadium every 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they're working on. It would be nice. I think it helps teams like Penn State and USC when they join, because USC is not as good as Michigan or Ohio State. They're not.
No, but they certainly have the opportunity to be. They're going to bring a whole different style of game to the Big Ten.
Until the first time USC gets to come to Penn State in late October in a whiteout. Good luck to you.
Or November.
First time Penn State has to go to LA and whatever, gold out, red, or whatever they do. Good luck. It's not going to work. But it should change that. Penn State doesn't have to play Ohio State every year.
Mm-hmm.
Or Michigan every year. But you can still get that in a title game.
Right. So
it makes sense for every division because then you don't have Ohio State being favored by 1 million every year.
Right. So again, going back to this year, wouldn't you rather see Ohio State have to play Michigan a second time than see Ohio State as a 3-touchdown favorite to whomever is coming out of the West?
Yes, because I think Michigan might beat them if they played a second time.
Yes. Oh, I can. No matter who wins the first time, I could easily see the other team winning the second time.
Because Ohio State can't really stop the run. And that's Michigan's game.
Yeah. I'm not guaranteeing Ohio State beats Michigan the first time. I'm just using that as the assumption because they're the home team.
That's why I use that as that assumption. I will be rooting for a tie.
Same thing with the Southeastern Conference. Let's just say Georgia wins a close game tomorrow against Tennessee. Let's just say it's a 3-point game. They should have to play Tennessee again in the conference championship game because Tennessee beat Alabama.
Right.
But Alabama's going to get the spot, and if Alabama beats Georgia, then they're going to be in the playoffs. Unless they lose another game somewhere along the line. And
Tennessee is not. In that scenario, Tennessee, because I'm not going to put 3 SEC teams in. Now, I'm sure the committee would love to figure out how to do that. But they're not going to put it in. If Georgia wins, I think Tennessee could still get in, barring some help from a TCU and a Clemson.
Well, if Georgia wins tomorrow, if you want Tennessee to make the playoffs, Georgia's going to have to win on the last play of the game.
Yeah, like a 3-point game.
Yeah. If Georgia blows out Tennessee, goodbye.
Because if Georgia wins a 3-point game tomorrow, Tennessee probably only drops to 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, you can't really drop in that scenario. You can't drop Tennessee below Alabama.
No, you can't.
Although they probably will.
Yeah, and TCU's going to win and still be not above them.
But seriously, if TCU played on a neutral field, Georgia, Alabama, or Tennessee, is TCU less than a 10-point underdog against either of those teams? Probably against Tennessee.
No, I'd say no to any of them.
Okay.
But it's the same thing with the Big 12. Oklahoma always wins the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
They make the playoffs and they get murdered because Oklahoma sucks.
Right, because their defense can't match up.
I want to see something different, so I'd like to see TCU make it. Like when Michigan State made it, that was just different.
Mm-hmm.
I get that was the first year, but that hasn't happened since.
No.
Washington made it that year.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to see Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson. Who cares?
Yes.
Sure, those are great games, but I don't care.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm looking forward to the expanded playoffs.
And then, Cincinnati last year, I think that was a joke that they were in, to be honest.
At least it was different.
I laugh. It was different, but not even a Power 5 school, my guy. They didn't have a stone cold chance in hell to win that game.
That's true. All right, let's recap the Penn State-Ohio State game.
All right.
You were in the stadium.
I was.
You were on the field.
I was.
You were not in the field of play, mind you. At least while the game was going on.
Yeah, I did end up near the 50 after the game.
So, what was the atmosphere like compared to the whiteout game?
Oh, it was 100% louder. Whiteout, to me, now I only have one other whiteout to compare it to. That was at Auburn. That was painstakingly loud. Whiteout last week was, pregame was loud, but then after that, Penn State started bad, and then they just started blowing them out, so it really wasn't ever a good game. Sure, it was loud. Penn State, Parker Washington breaks that 60-yard pass or whatever. That was as loud as last year. And I was right in front of the student section when that happened. Boy, was that loud. Now, if that was a night game, that would have been something.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a night game, Penn State wins the game.
There's a good chance.
But I think somehow the defense got tired when Penn State actually had more yards, more first downs, less penalties. They had a run game unlike Ohio State. Ohio State did not have a run game.
Except in that one drive.
Except in one drive where they broke like a 40-yard run.
Yeah.
They couldn't get their screen passes working. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is unbelievable.
I said last week, he's going to be one of the NFL greats, just like his daddy.
I mean,
non-genetically proven, of course.
Our best corner's on him, Porter, and he can't do anything. What are you going to do?
And he's not even their best player yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
He will be.
Yet.
You had him doing a great game. Parker Washington probably had his breakout game.
Yeah.
He had 100 and some odd yards, 150 yards. I don't know why we haven't been using him like that forever.
Mm-hmm.
He has it. He plays short, so he's more of a slot guy. But he's proven he can go get the ball. You can throw it away over the defender, and he will go get it.
Well, the one catch that he made was phenomenal. The one that you had pictures of.
I have both his diving catches. One, he was facing me. The other, it was his back because he wasn't facing me when he caught it. I know which one you're talking about because the announcer even said, "Did he catch that?" Yes, he did.
He did. It went to replay. He caught it.
And he struggled to get up. It's like, he's fine. He just landed straight on his ribs.
Yes.
Probably didn't feel the greatest.
Yes. All right, so now Penn State has 2 losses. Are they going to finish the season with 2 losses?
I'd like to say so.
Meaning the regular season.
I'd like to say so. They'll be fine this week. They'll be fine next week, of all probability. And they'll be fine against Rutgers. Michigan State should be fine.
Michigan State, come that game, Michigan State is just going to want the season to be over.
That's very true.
And who knows who's going to be on their team.
When does Penn State ever make Michigan State look easy?
Back in the 90s.
Exactly.
Kerry Collins, junior year, had his breakout game against Michigan State. I watched it. There was an eclipse that day, if I remember correctly, too. I watched the game.
Penn State beat them barely, and I think they had 2 wins at the time. And Penn State had 9.
Yeah.
They don't ever make Michigan State look easy.
Yeah.
Will they win? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Michigan State is good.
I'm going to write it as guaranteed. Now, this week is weird. Much better team.
I have flashbacks to 1994 when I think of this week's game.
Better line, better quarterback, better receivers. Indiana doesn't have their best receiver. But there's supposed to be 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. With gusts up to, I saw 45. that could be what takes Penn State to lose this game. Like, they don't lose this game unless they always, like, they would lose like a 17-14 kind of game. They're not going to lose if they score 30.
Okay. So the thing you don't know is, let's just say it is a 25-mile-an-hour sustained wind.
Yeah.
Is it across the field or with and against?
Yeah.
You know, that's the part you don't know. It makes a big difference in the game.
If it comes down to a run game, Penn State will win the game. Indiana cannot run the ball. They're probably the worst in the Big Ten at running the ball. One of the worst in FBS total.
Yes, that's why Penn State covers tomorrow. Hint, hint. Hint.
Penn State covers tomorrow. Hint, hint.
Hint. You might see somebody pick that game in a little while.
Singleton should be able to get outside on this team, which that is his bread and butter. Get outside, right up the sideline. You won't catch him. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
And then Katron Allen will get you tough yards in between the tackles. Now, Penn State's line is beat up. Very.
Shouldn't matter tomorrow.
One starter that started the year playing, probably going to play tomorrow, which is Scruggs, the snapper. Better.
The snapper. The snapper.
Their best player, the right tackle.
Slicing.
Bashanu.
Okay.
He might play. If he can, he will. But he was not at practice on Wednesday. Neither was their left tackle.
And how do you know that?
I listened to podcasts of the people I work for.
That was not quite the answer I was looking for.
Oh, I mean, I'm that observant.
I was looking for, I'm at their practice.
I am at their practice. But I'm not paying it. I don't know who's who. I know receivers and running backs. I know quarterbacks.
Oh.
I don't know the line.
Do you take
I
their
know
roster with you each week?
The rest of the line.
Do you have their roster with you each week?
No.
No. Okay.
I just get told who to get. And most of the time it's give me quarterbacks, give me the O-line, give me D-line, give me the cornerbacks. Like, it's usually a position group, not so much a name.
Well, that explains why I've never seen pictures of the water boy.
There's actually more than one water boy. There's like 8 of them.
Well, obviously. So, who's playing quarterback tomorrow?
Clifford. He's going to start. Clifford's going to start. To be honest, though, if there is wind and if it's a crossway, it don't matter who starts. Because they're not going to throw the ball. Unless it is desperately needed to throw it more than 5 yards. You might throw some screens, sure. You might, but you're not going to throw it 20, 30 yards down. It's not going to happen.
Depends. You can't say that.
If it's a crosswind, that's what I said.
If the wind is for you and against you, you could easily throw the ball 25, 30 yards downfield when you have the wind with you.
You just don't need to, though, tomorrow.
I mean...
They might.
Okay. Does Penn State cover?
Yeah.
Okay. Final score. What's your prediction?
I haven't really thought about that.
Okay.
35-10.
Ooh. Interesting. I had something very similar, so I
And the 10 is because Indiana's going to score a garbage time touchdown. I think Indiana's going to struggle to move the ball all day on Penn State's defense. Barely any injuries, very healthy. Diaz is going to play a very aggressive ball. You should be able to get to the quarterback with a forefront, unlike Ohio State. You weren't getting to the quarterback on a 4 rush. This week, you should be able to get to the quarterback on a 4 rush. So they're going to struggle to run the ball. They're going to struggle to pass the ball. They're going to struggle to move the ball all day. Garbage time touchdown for Indiana. They still won't cover that.
I'll say 34-13. Penn State's. That means we both predict the game will go under the total of, I believe it's 51.
I don't know.
So I'm going to figure out which way that wind's blowing, and if it is a strong wind tomorrow,
Right under.
Any other college games you want to, what's going to happen in the Georgia-Tennessee game tomorrow?
I don't know.
You got a little pick in that game? No? You got a little pick? Or should we wait? Should we wait to see if that...
We can wait.
Okay. Oh. What about the game of the year that's tomorrow?
UConn, UMass?
You got it.
UConn will win the game.
Are they going to cover the 15?
I don't know.
It is the game of the year.
Come on. Take that game. She's
like,
I'm like, I don't. She's like, take that game. I'm like, I know nothing about it. I don't know who plays.
Well, you would know one player if he wasn't injured.
Yeah, I say I would know UConn's quarterback, but I don't know he's injured. Get injured like the first drive of the year.
I'm very impressed you picked out the game of the year without any hints.
That was easy because it is the game of the year.
It is the game of the year. All right, on
number 1 versus number 3.
On to the NFL.
Oh, the joke FL.
So the stinking Eagles moved to 8-0 last night. They didn't cover.
They made it look difficult. Let's just say that.
Well, I tell you what, the spot was not good for them. And if I didn't have a 4-game lead in my football pool, where I just need to still have the lead after this week and I win the first half, I would have without a doubt taken Houston, getting 12.5 last night. I mean, now they lost by 12, so they covered. But it was a horrible, horrible spot for the Eagles. On the road, double-digit favorite on a Thursday, traveling more than 800 miles.
Could you get more of an easier road Thursday night game?
Well, I said that to you earlier this week when we were talking.
No. Could you get more of an... Like, you couldn't face even, like, Carolina, who's at least a little better? Or even Indy.
But that spot right there, on the road on a Thursday, traveling more than 800 miles, double digit, and against an out of conference, which the Eagles historically suck out of conference playing teams. It all led to Houston covering the game, which the official line went off at somewhere between 14 and 14.5, depending upon where you played. So they didn't cover. In the pool that I'm in, which uses Tuesday lines, it was 12.5, and they didn't even cover that. So they are 8-0, and for those of you watching, I am telling you right now, I say it every week, and I will continue to say it every week, they are not going to the Super Bowl. Nope. San Francisco.
They look bland against bad teams. They just don't. You should be winning that game by 30 if you want to be in the Super Bowl.
San Francisco is coming out of the NFC, going to the Super Bowl. If you didn't see Christian McCaffrey, his first game with San Francisco scored, 3 touchdowns. And one of them was even passing.
Look at that.
Or was that the game before? He might have done that.
Is Aaron Rodgers going to be in a Niners uniform next year?
Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, everyone in the NFC North decided to make an okay trade. I don't really fully understand the Lions getting rid of their top tight end.
They needed picks, man. They need picks.
Decent picks out of it. But, But then the Packers are like, nah, we don't need a receiver. We're gonna make sure Rodgers only has Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb to throw to.
Who's hurt?
Who's 85 years old anyways. A rookie, or he's not a rookie, but I think Allen Lazard's in his second year, and a couple rookies to throw out. Yeah, make him want to quit now. Like it's been years, and you just don't help this guy. He won 2 MVPs with 1 good receiver. And then you decided to trade him away, too, for no reason. Green Bay has a good defense, and they had a competent offense. Now they have no offense, and their defense is still decent, but their offense can't score more than 20 points.
Yeah. Yep. So this week's NFL schedule really, really sucks.
It sucks every week.
There is not one marquee game that's like, oh, I gotta watch that game. You got the Chargers at the Falcons. You got Miami at the Bears. You got the Panthers at the Bengals. You have the Packers at the Lions. You have the Colts at the Patriots. You have the Bills at the Jets. You have the Vikings at the Commandos. And yes, I said Commandos. You have Vegas at Jacksonville Jaguars, which is that's an interesting game. I want to talk about that game in a minute. You got the Seahawks at the Cardinals. You have the Rams at the Bucks. You have the Titans at the Chiefs. And you have the Ravens at the Saints.
That's probably the best game.
Literally, nothing is there saying, I got to watch that game. So, Vegas, Jacksonville.
Why is the toilet bowl interesting?
Well, Vegas got shut out last week.
I know. Their kicker is on my team.
Vegas got shut out last week in New Orleans. They flew to Florida. They stayed in Florida all week. Jacksonville is coming back from London or wherever they played over in England. Who's going to be the more rested team? That's an interesting thing. The NFL, when you play over in Europe, you have the right to request your bye be the week after. Jacksonville said, no, we don't want our bye that week. Interesting.
I would definitely take my bye that week.
Interesting. Which is why...
Home to what, Tuesday?
Well, I'm sure they flew out Monday. Don't forget, the clocks are backwards from London to Florida.
Yeah.
This is why Vegas is favored in that game, by the way. And Vegas is going to win that game. There's going to be some upsets this week. Atlanta's going to beat San Diego, or, well, which used to be the Chargers, now Los Angeles. That's my upset game of the week.
I thought you were going to say the Jets are going to beat the Bills.
Jets are not beating the Bills. Don't be surprised if Washington beats Minnesota. I don't think it's going to happen, but I do think they'll cover the spread. Kansas City, Tennessee is very interesting. It's a 12-point spread, only because they don't know who's starting. Is Tannehill playing or not? But it's very interesting. Their running back has like 4 straight 200-yard games, Travis Henry. That's interesting. I like it. I have him on my fantasy team.
Travis Henry?
Yes. Is that his name? I don't know.
Derrick Henry?
Same thing. Travis is his middle name.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Derek Travis Henry. Now you're actually looking it up.
There's no way. Lamar.
Oh, it's his confirmation name.
Sure. We'll go with that.
Derek Lamar Travis Henry.
Junior.
All right. On to this week's, what you guys all wait for every Friday. I know you guys wait for it. I know indeed. This week's Phatts Phantastic Phive. We need some music for that. You got to come up with some music for that.
I'll find some non-copyright music.
This is where... Let me see if...
Losses become wins and losses become losses.
Yeah, something like that.
Wins become losses and losses become losses.
Yeah.
This is where we tell you what not to play this.
Yes.
Except the 1 week I went undefeated.
Yes, this is where, yes.
2 times in Phatts Phantastic Phive history.
Yes.
Which is amazing because we only picked 5 games. The fact that Phatts has gone undefeated once, and I've gone undefeated once. That's amazing.
At least my undefeated was 5-0.
Yeah.
Yours was like
I'm the only one to go 0-5.
Yours was like 1-0-4 or something like that.
Yeah, 4-0-1. Relax.
So let's look at the non-genetically proven Sons picks from last week. Let's see how he did last week.
I don't want to look at last week.
He had Rutgers getting 14. Did they cover?
They got shut out, I think.
Did they?
I think so. Wait, hold up. Now I need to know.
No.
Rutgers. Big Ten. That is Conference USA. Big Ten.
They belong in Conference USA.
They got shut out. 31-0.
Hey, they didn't cover the 14. You had.
No, they did not.
You had. This pick's even better. You had Oklahoma State's team total over 27.5. How many points did Oklahoma State score last week?
None.
No.
In a Big 12 conference matchup, they got shut out 48 to goose egg. Good pick, Hoss.
So wait, let's review his first 2 picks again. You had Rutgers plus 14. How many points did they score? None. You had Oklahoma State team total over 27.5. How many points did they score? None. You had Michigan minus 23. Did they at least cover?
If you count all the arrests that are going to be happening, sure. No, they didn't. They won by 22.
Oh, whoops. Well, at least they didn't get shut out.
Yeah.
You had the Jets getting 2.5. They didn't cover. They lost by 5.
Oh,
You had Pittsburgh, Philly over 43. Hey, there's a win.
Woo!
There's a win. So coming off your spectacular 4-0-1 week, you went
1-4.
1-4. Attaboy. Now you have some interesting picks here this week. You have 4 college games and 1 pro game.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at your picks. You're given some big spreads here. And I have one wrong here, so I'm going to change it as we talk about it. Got to make that a plus.
Tennessee is not minus 12.
Yeah, we got to make that a plus in there. All right, so you have Ohio State minus 38 points on the road at Northwestern.
Exactly, Northwestern.
Wow, that's a lot of points to be giving up when you are on the road. Woo! Ugh. I guess you think they're covering.
Yeah, we're going to cover.
You have Michigan minus 26. Are they on the road?
On the road.
On the road.
And, wait for it.
Rutgers. You like playing the Rutgers games. Whether you're on them or against them. You wind up taking the Rutgers team a lot, and you haven't done very well. So I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, Michigan is winning that game by about 24.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
That's about right. Now, here, this pick surprised me. I will say, when you sent me the picks and I looked at them for the first time, this pick surprised me. Because when we originally when I told you what the line was earlier in the week, you went, "Oh, give me Tennessee."
Right.
So what changed your mind that now you're taking Georgia and laying more than a touchdown?
I don't get the line.
Got ya.
I don't understand why Tennessee is that much of an underdog.
Got ya.
So, along with what you said earlier, I don't get it. So I'll just take why they're favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's got to know something that I don't.
Well, there's a lot of people that know a lot of stuff you don't. No offense.
I mean, yeah, you're right. So, I don't get it. So, it's that for a reason. I said that earlier in a couple games, and
Yeah.
the team that was favored won.
Yeah.
They covered, too.
Like
So, I don't get it.
For example, this is going to be an inside joke. Why we put an oil cap back on where you put the oil in a car?
You know what?
And then we find out that a medicine bottle makes a great oil cap. For those of you in a pinch.
Yeah, there you go.
You have LSU getting 13 and a half.
Playing a night game in Death Valley against, I believe, an average Alabama team.
Especially on defense.
For Alabama standards, this is not a good team.
Especially on defense.
LSU is playing very good right now. They will cover. Don't know if they'll win. I hope they win.
I hope they win
Because
too.
then that means Alabama's out of the playoffs.
Out of here.
Actually, somehow they'll still make the playoffs with 2 losses.
They could have 7 losses and still make the playoffs.
You're right. As long as they win the SEC, it doesn't matter.
And then your lone pro game, you have Tennessee plus 12. This is a gutsy pick. And I know you don't know why, but this is a gutsy pick.
It's because you don't know Tannehill.
Oh, that's not what I was going to say, because I know how good what a Fatty McFatty, the coach of Kansas City, does after a bye week.
Maybe he's watching James Franklin stuff.
Well, I'm sure he's a little, like his kid just did get sentenced to 3 years in jail this week.
Interesting.
Well, his kid was in an accident that caused the fatality while he was drunk a couple of years back.
Good.
So he's going to jail.
For only 3 years.
For 3 years, yes.
Only 3 years.
Yes, and I'm sure, got sued for millions of dollars.
Should be a lot more than 3 years.
It should be. I agree. Should be. Should be. All right, so your picks. Ohio State minus 38. Michigan minus 26. Georgia minus 8.5. LSU plus 13.5. Tennessee plus 12. Let's hope you do better than 1-4 this week.
I promise I will.
Yeah, I have no comment. Let's look at my picks from last week. At least I did slightly better. Slightly better.
You try.
I had Jacksonville minus 2.5. They wound up losing by 4. They were up in the fourth quarter, but Denver beat them in the fourth quarter. I had Arizona plus 3.5. I love that pick last week. And they lost by 8 to Minnesota. I had San Fran minus 1.5. They dominated the Rams. Dominated. Pure domination. The score was not indicative of how much they dominated that game. I had Washington plus 3. They were down by 6, and then Taylor Heineke threw the bomb with less than a minute to go, and it was caught at the 1-yard line, and then they punched it in to win by a point. And then I had the over in the Cleveland-Cincinnati game, and let's just say, like kissing your sister, I pushed.
Cincy looked awful.
Cincy did not show up for that game, and they were my number 2 ranked team coming into last week.
They looked bad.
They did look bad. They looked unprepared to play. So I went 2-2-1 last week. I don't push many games. I think this is only my second push. We've been doing picks for 3 seasons now. I think this is my second push.
I think I don't have any more than 3 or 4.
No, you don't either. So here are my picks. And as I say every week, the non-genetically proven son does not see my picks at all. This is the first time he's seeing them. So we get his like immediate reaction. I have 3 college games and 2 pro games. So let's look at what I got. I got a game going tonight at 10:30, I believe it starts. Oregon State, Washington, over 54. Points will be at a plenty. They will be in the 60s in that game. Until I turn it on and find out it's a driving rainstorm with 45 miles an hour winds.
Why in the world is that game on a Friday?
I don't know. I don't know.
Just...
That would be a really good game tomorrow night against the World Series. I have LSU's team total over 20.5. Team total over 20.5. All I'm looking for LSU is to score 3 touchdowns tomorrow. Why did I take it? Alabama is averaging giving up more than 30 points this year on the road. And as previously mentioned by the non-genetically proven son, we're in Death Valley at night.
Which is arguably louder than Beaver Stadium at night.
And it will be tomorrow.
Measured at over 100 decibels during the Ohio State game.
It will be loud tomorrow. In fact, I already placed a bet that if I could get LSU just to score 30 points in that game, I'm making it like plus 225.
Wow.
So for $100, I get back 225. So I think that was well worth playing that bet. I took Penn State minus 13.5. I just said earlier I think they're going to win by 18. If this was 14, I would not play it, which a lot of places were at 14. Points bet was at no, I lie. Barstool is at 13.5 as of 5 o'clock this afternoon.
So is DraftKings.
Okay. Then I have my pro games are team totals. I love this first one. Love it. Indianapolis team total under 17.5. I love this. Why do I love it? Who's Indianapolis playing on Sunday?
I have no idea.
They're playing the Patriots. Who is the coach of the Patriots?
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick. Indianapolis is starting a rookie quarterback, making his second career start. His first road start. And you're putting him against Bill Belichick, who eats rookie quarterbacks for lunch. And I need Indianapolis to score more than 17 points. They scored 16 on Washington last week at home. You're going to tell me they're going to score 18 or more against New England on the road against Bill Belichick? Defense? That ain't happening, ladies and gentlemen. I love this play. This is probably my top 3 favorite plays all year so far. I love it. Love it. Love it. I love it just like the non-genetically proven son loves the old lady who lives in the skook.
Interesting.
Yes. And my last game, Atlanta team total over 23.5. I just need 24 points out of a team that's averaging that many against a banged up Chargers team.
As long as Algier scores all 3 touchdowns.
Sure, that's fine with me.
That's fine with me.
Let's say he scores 5 touchdowns. I don't care.
That's fine. It's a lot of fantasy points. I need someone to make up for Saquon this week.
So to go over the games again, the non-genetically proven son has Ohio State minus 38, Michigan minus 26, Georgia minus 8.5, LSU plus 13.5, Tennessee in the pros at plus 12. I have Oregon State, Washington over 54, LSU team total over 20.5, Penn State minus 13.5, Indianapolis in the pros team total under 17.5, and the Atlanta Falcons team total over 23.5. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is this week's Phatts Phantastic Phive. I like how that fit. That like fits perfectly. That's almost like I tried to do that.
It is almost like you tried to do that. And I promise you, 5 people that watched, he did not.
I promise you, I did not do that. Like, try to do that. It just worked out that way. All right, so that's going to do it for this week's show. Unless if you have anything else you want to talk about?
That's all I had planned.
Did you have a good bowel movement this week or something?
I guess.
Okay, so let's talk about Tuesday's show. Tuesday is one of my favorite episodes. Tuesdays is our politics night. We will be broadcasting election returns all night long, starting at 7 o'clock. We'll see how long the non-genetically proven son sticks with it, because, he's got to get up early for work, like 10 o'clock. So,
I probably tried 5 hours before that. But, I could probably make it till 11.
Nah, you don't need to make it that long. I mean, it's not like they're going to call Pennsylvania the Senate race Tuesday night. They've already basically said, yeah, it's going to take us days to count that.
For any reference how that show goes, it is a lot of staring at screens, and there are times when we won't talk for a couple minutes because we're just kind of waiting. And there's a lot of downtime, dead space, but we will be right on point with when results come in. I will have my iPad, I'll have my computer, I will have election results for both, and I will be clicking on every state, and I'll just go back and forth to whatever states we are talking about currently, because they do update every about 6 or 7 minutes. You'll get something.
Oh yeah, and since we're going to be focusing on House and Senate races, it's going to be constantly updating.
With House, I mean, even just in Pennsylvania, there's enough if you want to go into the state level.
Yes. So we'll start that Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. We'll probably go till about midnight. At least I will. We'll see how long the non-genetically proven son can last. As long as he can make it till 10, that would be nice, but he doesn't have to if he can't,
Oh, I easily can make it to 10. I usually go to bed between 10 and 11.
Okay, so get out and vote. It is your duty to get out and vote on Tuesday. Vote early, vote often, vote red. That's all I'm going to say.
So always remember, it's your privilege to vote.
Yes. I like telling...
A lot of the world doesn't get to.
I like telling the story in the old Soviet Union, not in Russia, the old Soviet Union before it collapsed. 99.99% of the population voted. And they had the opportunity to vote for one candidate only. I mean, they were afraid that if they didn't go vote, they would be killed. Which is true. But they voted. Now, I'm for people voting, but I wish people would get educated before they go vote. I don't like people that says, oh, I'm just voting Democrat or I'm just voting Republican. Educate yourself. Educate yourself on the issues. Don't listen to what's going on cable news. Don't listen to Fox. Don't listen to CNN. Don't listen to MSNBC. Listen to us if you're going to listen to anybody, because we speak the truth here on Phatts TV. Our Tuesday shows are definitely rated R. I get a little animated. Okay, I get a lot animated. There's definitely people to listen to where you get the truth. Because 70% of what you hear, even 80% of what you hear out there is false. False narrative designed. Like, for example, you hear it every election cycle. Every election cycle. If you vote for Republicans, if Republicans take control, they are going to eliminate your Social Security.
They've been saying that since the 70s.
I remember the first election that I paid attention to. It was the presidential election of 1984, Reagan against Mondale. I remember asking my grandfather. My father loved Ronald Reagan. Loved him. My grandfather was rooting for Mondale, and I remember asking him why he wanted Mondale to win. And his response was because Reagan was going to eliminate my Social Security. Last I checked, we're almost 40 years later, and Social Security's still there. It's been rated a lot by the government, by both parties. But nobody is eliminating Social Security. That's why, like, you can't listen to the shit that you hear. You gotta find where the truth lies. And definitely the truth lies on Phatts TV. We speak the truth. Lord knows, like, Fetterman and Oz, I don't like either of them. I'm gonna vote for one of them. Because there's one I definitely do not want to win. So I'm basically voting, for the first time in my life, I'm voting not for the other guy to win. Normally, if I don't like either candidate, I vote for a third-party candidate or I'll write in a name. But this is the first time I'm not. Because I can't see fucking Gorder Boy. I don't want to see Gorder Boy as our senator in Pennsylvania. I just don't want to see it. So that's my political spiel. Join us Tuesday night starting at 7. Make sure you vote. And that's all I have to say about that. Go vote. Vote!
I will.
I know you do. You're voting at a new place this time.
I am.
Yes. So until then, have a great weekend. Lots of great sports on tomorrow. Lots of great football. You do have the Breeders' Cup for those of you that's in horse racing. The MLS Championship is on tomorrow. The World Series is on tomorrow night. Tomorrow is a great, great sports day because Sunday is going to suck.
And in a few weeks, we get to start the World Cup. Best sporting event in the world.
It's coming up. It starts the day after Penn State plays Rutgers. It starts on the 20th.
And I can't wait to binge it.
Rutgers. Yeah. All right. Until Tuesday. Wave to the good folk. See ya.